Hello everyone, welcome to That's Football. Sorry it's a little bit late today for the start. Massive problems yet again streaming. Nothing to do with YouTube, it's not your fault. To do with the actual bloody logging into the system that I use. For some reason it didn't want to work. So that set me back by 5 minutes. But we are live and I hope you're all doing very well. Manchester City at Tottenham. In an interesting game whereby we've also seen Burnley draw mid-table battle with Arsenal, 0-0 there. Aubameyang's a good striker, isn't he? Bloody hell. But good from a United point of view, because if they'd beaten Burnley today, they would have been 2 points behind us and Wolves, and they remain 4 points behind. So there's a little bit of breathing space there. As sad as that sounds, I can't be doing with going behind Arsenal, to be honest. That would be really hard to stomach. But I have got to get the timer going as well. As I said, a couple of minutes late today getting this stream up and ready, but we are ready. We are up and running, and let me get the timer up and running for you as well. Predictions for this one, I can't see anything other than a Manchester City win. I've got to say. I mean, I don't think they were that impressive midweek against United, but they are still a very, very good team at passing the ball about, and I think that they'll be comfortable winners over Spurs. Having said that, from a Spurs point of view, let me just say this. I think that if Spurs were to find a win today, it would be massive for them in relation to their quest for top four. They could go 4 points behind Chelsea today. They're 7 points behind at the moment. You'd feel 7 points behind is probably a little bit too much, but Chelsea, despite drawing with Leicester yesterday, still firmly in control of that top four position. The chasing pack behind, neither Wolves or United could beat each other, and obviously Arsenal, whether they're in a top four race, I don't think so, but Spurs maybe are, but I think they've got to get something today. We'll talk to you about the team news, then we'll start to take some of your comments as well. Team news: Lloris is back in goal for Spurs, Aurier, Alderweireld, Davinson Sanchez and Tanganga. Lo Celso, Winks and Ali as a midfield three, and then Son, Bergwijn and Lucas Moura as a front three. So we get to see Steven Bergwijn, which is very exciting. I think he's a good player. Number 23 for Spurs, and no starting place for Ndembele. He's on the bench, as is Ryan Sessegnon. Man City: Ederson, Walker, Otamendi, Fernandinho, Zinchenko as the back four, De Bruyne, Rodri and Gundogan as the midfield three, and Mahrez, Aguero and Sterling as the front three. Silva, and both Silvas on the bench actually for this game. Cancelo on the bench as well. So that's how both teams are lining up, and at the moment it started off with Manchester City doing a lot of the ball, although Spurs are on the ball at the moment. I'm excited to see Bergwijn, says Taylor Sanson. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on. The timer's on, so shut up about the timer. And I have explained why the timer was late, and I've explained why I was late. So grow up. Not everything's going to be handed onto a plate. You need to grow up and start fending for yourself sometimes. Not everything happens on the whistle. Super Bowl tonight as well. Super Bowl tonight. I don't even know who's playing it. Last year I tried to watch it a little bit, but for me, it ain't my cup of tea. I've got to be honest. I think American football is the only. Every year I sort of watch the Super Bowl and think Super Bowl, and I think next year I'm going to get into it a little bit, and I never do. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Bottom right hand corner. Bonus watch along today. Actually, I did Leicester Chelsea yesterday, and I wasn't planning on doing one this afternoon, but the 4:30 kickoff sort of enabled me to do it. The reason I wasn't going to do it, I'll be absolutely honest with you, I was going to watch the rugby, and the rugby sort of let me down at the end of the day. So I thought, sod it, I'll do a watch along for this. So offside there, half a chance for Spurs. Dele Alli making the run, offside. But 24-7 in the rugby, England a long, long way behind. They're going to get beaten, that I'm afraid. If you care. Samir, there you go. I was watching the Six Nations, but England let me down. Probably the World Cup hangover for them, losing that final when they had such a good chance. But this is an intriguing game. I mean, this will be a game that Liverpool fans are looking at. I mean, Liverpool are going to win the league, of course, but it's when they're going to win the league. They're going to break the record of winning the league anyway, but they could win the league in March if they keep winning games and Man City keep dropping points. So this, I don't know, it's a weird mindset, isn't it? Liverpool are going to win the league at some point, so it's not like Man City can get anywhere near stopping that, but it's about stopping them winning it in March, maybe. FIFA Career Mode's back this week. Video, right, fish hook. So yeah, be on this channel. So make sure you subscribe if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. How long is left in the rugby though? I think England have scored a try, but I don't think there's particularly long left in it. Prats is what I would say. They've really let themselves down today, but Liverpool got 7 games to win it, says Michael Atkinson. Yeah, so I'm going to go Man City to win this, but you never know. I mean, I was thinking about this morning. You know, there was a time when this was a big game, Pep against Mourinho, and it really isn't one anymore, is it? It's going to be very interesting to see what Mourinho's future is at Manchester. At Spurs. We know what it was at Manchester United. It was the sack, but it's going to be very interesting to see what his future is at the. At Spurs. I mean, what do people think about it? Because personally, I think that Spurs fans will become quite frustrated with him quite soon. And there's De Bruyne, side netting, but it was a nice little slip in, and it was a nice little chance as well. And he's not taking it. Nosy. Just watching on the rugby. Goldbridge is 5 minutes early for the United game yesterday, to be honest, as Big God Bob. Oh, people talking about it being late. You're lucky I'm doing it. Just chill out, relax. Spurs on the attack here. I mean, you know what? Man City have been so inconsistent this season. You just don't know. Fanta Pants, says Louis Taylor. Not my words. The words of Louis Taylor is calling De Bruyne Fanta Pants. But good overlapping run by Kyle Walker. Cross. Oh, it was nearly a goal. Nearly a goal. Aguero didn't grab hold of it. It was a lovely cutback cross from Kyle Walker into the stride of Aguero, and you'd fancy him to do that. But now Spurs are on the break with Son up against Fernandinho. He's going to commit him. Into the box goes Son. Good recovery tackle by Fernandinho. And I think that's been one of the issues that Spurs have had this... not Spurs, City have had this year. Having to play Fernandinho as a centre-back all season, I think has really cost them. Did you watch the tennis, Mark? Said Jamie. No, I didn't. I've had quite a chilled out day today, to be honest with you. Got this down as a draw, says Danny Hoggy. Why am I so grumpy? I'm not grumpy, Ryan. I'm not grumpy at all. I'm fine. I'm a bit tired today, but I wouldn't say I'm grumpy. The amount of ego behind that. Carl Cox is rumoured as a next United manager, says Lefty Manello. I don't know what that means. Mark, what are your thoughts on people calling the Premier League a Farmers League, says Lucas Wiseman. Well, who's calling the Premier League a Farmers League? I mean, come on. I think the standard of the Premier League is poor this year, but I'd still say it's probably the best league in the world, because it's a funny one, isn't it? I think everybody in the Premier League's been bad this season, but how is even a bad Premier League, I think, is better than most of the leagues in Europe. I mean, we're going to see in the latter stages of the Europa League, aren't we? I mean, Manchester United and Arsenal, really poor seasons. I think they'll get to the Europa League final, both of them, which proves that despite it being a poor Premier League, we've still got the strongest one. And I do think we'll see 2 English clubs in the Champions League again, if the draw allows it and they don't get drawn against each other in the earlier rounds. So good defensive play there by Spurs. A little bit under the cosh here from Man City. Spurs trying to hit on the break. Will you be watching the Super Bowl, Mark, says Josh K. I'm tempted to. Do you think Virgil van Dijk would go to Juve when Liverpool win the title, says Ninja Smurf United? I don't think there's any hint of any Liverpool players wanting to move on, to be honest. I don't see that. I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, and I think with United, when we were very successful, we were winning titles. We won a Champions League in 2008. We got to the Champions League final again in 2009, and Ronaldo left after that, and we just won the league again. So that was hard, but it was hard but easy, because Ronaldo had always said that he wanted to go and play for Real Madrid. Oh, bit of a mistake at the back there, but Edison's got hold of it. Yeah, he'd always said that he wanted to go to Real Madrid, Ronaldo. So, you know, you just have to swallow that up sometimes. And I think that's the only thing that Liverpool would have to worry about, because they are the best team in the world at the moment, and they're about to win the league title. So why would you leave? You're playing for a good manager as well. You know, all those Liverpool players look settled and happy. The only way they're going to leave is if Mane supported Barcelona as a kid and his dream is to play there, or Salah dreamed to play for Real Madrid, or Van Dijk's dream is to play for Juventus. Like you say, I don't know, but I don't get any suggestion or feeling that they are going to. Player's gone down here, Sterling in a 50-50. He's got a yellow card for it as well. And you wonder if he's got a yellow card for it, maybe it might have been a little bit more. He's stamped right down on Dele Alli, and that's really hurt Dele Alli. It looks to me like you could say that's a red. But I think he's going for the ball. And Mike Dean was quick to give him a yellow card. I think he's going for the ball. I don't know what you lot think if you've seen that tackle by Raheem Sterling. No, he's going for the ball there. I don't think it's a red card tackle. He does go for the ball. Yeah. So nasty tackle, but I don't agree with it being a red. A lot of you do. A lot of you do. Why don't you think it's a red, Mark? I don't think it's a red. And Ninja Smurf United says, I don't think it's a red because he's going. Ninja Smurf United said it is a red. I don't think it's a red because he's clearly going to hit the ball. There's no leave your studs in to hurt him on purpose for me. I think he's going to kick the ball. So it's not a red, I don't think. But yeah. But a lot of you say it should be a red. But it's I liked that comment the best. Fair tackle, but very ugly. And that's from Alex Borge. I think he's absolutely right. Yellow, his leg does not raise, says Ian Hacking. But a lot of you do think it's a red. This is what? Al Tahir Ahmed says VAR will give a red. Somebody tell him. More people saying it's a red than not. Well, there you go. Remember Aubameyang got red 3 weeks back, says Fitness and Scriptures Sharath Kamath. Yeah, but he plays for Arsenal, doesn't he? They're irrelevant. Mid-table club. Oh, Pogba's on Bellerin was stupid anyway. Red all day, says Google. Bought me. And LD Production says red. Marky says more people are wrong. And Mourinho's saying, how is it not a red? Well, of course Jose wants it to be a red. I'm going to have to put a tweet out and see. But tasty game. There'll be a few tasty tackles going in now. I'll tell you that for free. We saw one on Vyzinchenko on Lucas Moura just there as well. So tasty. And I tell you what, Sterling, I would say, if they'd given a red, I wouldn't have. I'm not saying it's definitely not a red. I wouldn't have given a red for that because I think he's trying to kick the ball and not the player. But if he'd got a red, I don't think anybody would have been sympathetic to it. They would have just said, maybe on another day it might not have been. So I can see what Jose's on about, but for me, I don't think it was. Mark, is this Tim Long guy on Twitter a fake account of Mark Silverbridge? The guy is the most optimistic and deluded guy in the world, says Fitness and Scripture. I know, mate. I just ignore him. He's just absolutely... I think it's Ollie. I think Tim Long is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Spurs on the attack here. Man City do like to leave their foot. Oh, I tell you what, Dele Alli, you had a chance to put Son in one-on-one there and you missed it. You missed that chance. So, I think Spurs will be happy with this start to the game because I think the more physical it gets, that sort of tackle is a good thing for them. Arsenal are a mid-table club. Man United are a mid-table club, says Aiden ST. But no, you are a mid-table club. Like, just own it. Zane's coming into the house to own it. You're a mid-table club. Burnley against Arsenal is a mid-table clash. It's a traditional mid-table clash now. Burnley against Arsenal, 0-0. A fair point for two mid-table teams battling for 12th. But in seriousness, you are 4 points behind Wolves and United, who are rubbish. So it just shows you, you've got your new manager now. Let your football do your talking. You should have won today. Look, I own the L. I thought Manchester United losing to Burnley last week, or whenever it was horrific. Absolutely horrific. But I know United are crap at the moment. So losing to Burnley is terrible. I think drawing to Burnley is terrible. I don't think they're a very good team at all. But in recent weeks, they've beaten Leicester, they've beaten United, and they've drawn with Arsenal. Come on, City, smash this pub team, make me a happy Sunday after drawing against Burnley. There's Zane in the house. Zane is in the house. United coached by a joker, what do you expect, says you always. Well, look, United and Arsenal, very similar. We've got owners who want to bleed us dry. We've got incompetence up and down the club. We've got squads we don't need that aren't good enough. And we've got this battle for Banter Cup every season. Here's Morez on the attack, into the box. Good tackle. And he keeps it in as well. Was that Tananga? Good player he is. What's his background? Like, not in relation to where was he born or anything like that. What has he come through the Spurs setup? I like him. Tanganga. Jose likes him as well. He was telling me the other night over a jacket potato and beans. No, I've heard him talking about him. He does like him. Football Live says, but you lost both to Arsenal and Burnley. But you know what? That argument, can I just say that? Can I just say, well, I will say it because it's there's no one else in here with me. So when I saw this, I put this on Twitter. I put it on Twitter today, and I said that Burnley and Arsenal 0-0 draw, fair point each for two mid-table clubs. And I just waited. It took half a second for an Arsenal fan to explode and come back with something. And I got quite a lot of people saying, yeah, but you lost to both of them last month. And I'm like, how is that a comeback? Because what you're basically saying is, we're so shit, we lost to shit. So you're actually confirming my point that you're crap. Because if you say, oh, but you lost to us, well, you're only confirming that you're crap. Because even though we lost to Arsenal and Burnley, we've still got 4 more points than you. So how bad does that make you? Look, we drew with Liverpool. Does that mean we're the second best club in the country because we're the only team not to lose to Liverpool this year? No, it doesn't. We're awful. Individual results don't matter. It's where you are in the league, isn't it? And where we are in the league is higher than Yao. Fitness Unscripted Kamath says, I watched Burnley play and I kind of enjoyed it. I know you want them to be relegated, but it's good to have a team that tests big clubs in a different way. Sean Dyche deserves more respect. You know what? I don't find Burnley as bad. I haven't watched Burnley much this season, but I've seen them 3 times in about a month. I saw them against Leicester, against us, and against Arsenal today. I don't actually mind them. I mean, they're hard-working and they're quite effective at what they do. I want Brighton to go down. I want Brighton, Norwich to go down, to be honest. Bit wasteful from Son. Is Mike Phelan even any good, Mark? I don't know. VAR is a disgrace. That's a red card all day, says Mohamed Ishmael. City on the attack here. Aguero, good covering by Harry Winks. Equal game so far. I think Spurs will be quite happy with this. Could we have another a draw game? We've had 3 televised draw games. 4 televised. Well, we've had 3 before today. Leicester and Chelsea draw. Wolves and United draw. And obviously Burnley and Arsenal draw. Lloris with a punch away there. Here is Bergwijn. I like the look of Bergwijn. He's got that speed on the ball, which I think is always very nice to watch. Thanks for the super chats that are coming in. You can do that through the $. Joel Morris says, only pro team Tanganga's played for is Spurs and he's from England, so he could play in the Euros. Thanks for that background, Joel. Mark, Arteta has been for a few games and we drew Ollie, has been there for over a year and lost against Burnley. Yeah, but you got to be very careful about that, Zane. Don't start bigging a manager up for what they've done in their first couple of months. Our manager won nearly every game for 3 months, so be very careful. And the Bad Elf says, like players should fans be able to transfer to a new club if they're unhappy? Fan dreams of supporting team that wins the European Cup but supports Arsenal. Well, mate, you joke and you jest, but the point you make is not too far from the truth. There are fans these days who do transfer their allegiances quite quickly. It's totally foreign to me that, and that doesn't mean that the people who do it are foreign, by the way. What I mean is it's a foreign feeling. Like, you know, I can't relate to it. My feelings are very much my own about that. You support the club through good and bad. It doesn't mean you can't be vocal about being unhappy. I think that's a brave thing to do when you support a club, to have the balls to stand up and say, look, I support this club, but I don't support what's going on with it. But yeah, imagine that. I've 6 years I've been at a bit like Pogba. I've tried it, I've given it my best, but you're just not the club for me to support. I might come back, but at the moment, I quite like the way Leicester are playing, so I'm going to go and support them for next season. Only thing good about Arsenal is their retro kit, says Fitness Unscripted Sharath Kamath. But no, there are. I mean, I talk to some fans, and I think you don't even know much about your history like 4 years ago. And I know what Liverpool were doing 4 years ago. There was a Liverpool fan on that Triple Eight Sport, and the way he talks, I was like, he just sounded to me like he was an Arsenal fan. But now he's all talking about Liverpool, but then he's like, Martial's the biggest Premier League flop. And I'm like, yeah, but do you know how much you spent on Andy Carroll? Like, and it wasn't that long ago. You're not 10. So I suspect that there are fans out there that just, well, I don't fancy that one anymore, I'm going to support that one. You know what? I do need... Somebody's saying now about a Bundesliga watch-along. I do need a watch-along for next week, because we're in this situation whereby the Premier League's about to go into... And it's still 0-0 here, Man City having more possession. We're in a situation next week where I like to do a watch-along every week, but there's not much. Because the Premier League is splitting, there is now... our winter break is happening in the Premier League. So Manchester United don't play for a couple of weeks, and I don't think Liverpool play for a couple of weeks. But some clubs do play next week, and then they don't play the week after. But the teams that are playing next week are a bit crap. So as I look over the next week, we've got fourth round replays on Tuesday, none of which really take my fancy. Wednesday, Tottenham versus Spurs, I might do. Thursday, Real Madrid, Real Sociedad, no, not interested in that. Friday, Bradford, Birmingham, nah, not interested in that. Funnily enough, the Championship don't have a winter break, do they? But I don't think there's a game on there. Oh, I could do Forest versus Leeds at 5:30 next Saturday. Imagine if I did that. Forest versus Leeds next Friday as a watch-along. That would be pure banter, being as I'm a Forest fan. Forest against Leeds. It's first against third next Saturday at 5:30. Or Brighton against Watford, or Everton against Palace. I mean, that's what I mean. It's not great. Not great pickings. I'm keeping an eye on the game, don't worry. I'm just having a look if there's any decent watch-alongs, like as a foreign game, because people keep saying, please do as a foreign game. It's a shame there's no good shot there by De Bruyne straight at the keeper. Scottish Cup, Rangers. It's a shame there's no big game next weekend, isn't there? Like a big foreign game. La Liga. Nothing going on. Germany. Nope. Italy. Nope. Let's have a look what's going on next Sunday. Bloody Sunday. Sheffield United, Bournemouth at 2 o'clock, and Man City, West Ham at R4. No, that's that. Man City, West Ham. That's just a dead game. Let's be honest. Let's not kid ourselves. La Liga, Betis. God, that's all crap as well. Bayern Munich, RB Leipzig. Bayern Munich, BRB Leipzig. Not really. Don't really fancy that. Inter Milan, AC Milan next Sunday night. Again, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. That's not good enough. So I can't really see anything, to be honest with you. The only one that tempts me a little bit is Forest versus Leeds. Bayern Leipzig, Sir Squiddy. Yeah, but maybe. I won't do Inter Milan versus AC Milan because it's 8 o'clock, Jack, and I do United Stand at 8 o'clock on a Sunday. Join me for that tonight, 8 o'clock United Stand. Good show. We'll be just digesting the transfer window. I need to write that down as well, just some points. Potch. Oh, I've let the big topic out the bag there. Man City on the tap. Bergwijn has the body type of R9. He's half as good as Spurs will do. Very good. This is Fitness and Scripts and Sharath. Mark, can we do a competitive log chopping watch along? Maybe ice hockey too, just for nostalgia. That was surreal. That night that we did the Bruno Fernandes watch along when Sporting played Benfica, and we thought it was going to be his last game, and he went and played 2 more games. but the channel we were watching it on before it, they had competitive log chopping where they climb these artificial trees, and women's ice hockey, which I didn't realise was women's because they have hats on. Zane's made a Aguero post. And just past Sterling, little bit of deflection. Aguero running through, had a defender by him, gets the shot off. I think the defender had a little deflection on it, hits the post, bounces back behind Lloris, and just wide of a Sterling tap in. So it remains 0-0, but that's typical Aguero there. Mahrez feeding him in, gets away, good shot. I don't know whether it's Lloris's foot actually that saves it. Let's watch this back. Yeah, it's stood by Lloris. What a save! What a save! Ninja Smurf says it's Ibrahimovic versus Lukaku next Sunday night. Inter Milan versus AC Milan. And Mark, with Martinelli, Pepe, Laka about we play exciting attacking football. United plays boring football. You said it yourself. I admit our defence is a pub defence. If you look over the last 20 years, we've produced more exciting attacking players. Henry, Emilio, etc. Zane, I feel like sometimes you're having conversations with yourself. Like, what are you trying to tell me? Your attack's better than ours, but you're in the mid-table and we're not. Over the last 20 years, you've produced better players than us, but we've won more trophies than you. I don't know what you're trying to tell me. You sound like somebody who's depressed, who's trying to convince yourself that, you've picked the right team to support. I mean, I respect what you're trying to say, but I'm not listening to it because, well, I am listening to it, but I'm not believing it. It's not sincere. I feel like you're trying to convince yourself. I'm obviously not listening. I'm just like, look at the facts, mate. But it just sounds a bit like you're trying to convince yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you haven't got a better attack than Manchester United because you're not higher in the league. And you can say, well, our defence is bad, but look at you today. Aubameyang missed sitters. You should have won that game today. You could have been 2 points behind us. Now you're 4. Mark, first 1 point separates Bayern and Leipzig. That's one of the games of the season. Trust me, says Mohammed Ismail. Well, maybe I'll do that 5 o'clock next week. I don't know what channel it'll be on though. I'm tempted to do Forest versus Leeds for the banter. It would just give all the haters just loads and loads of material, won't it? Oh, look at him doing Forest versus Leeds as a watch along, but it is an interesting game to do. I think Leeds will win anyway. De Bruyne, right hand side, cut back, good block. You feel that City are not far off a goal here. What a tackle that is by Lo Celso. When is FIFA back, Mark? Says Lucas Samet. It's back Tuesday, lunchtime, 1 o'clock, live on this channel. So FIFA's been away for too long. Had to leave it because of the January transfer window. I think I'm going to do a Manchester United career mode starting in August with Bruno Fernandes. That's what I think I'm going to do. That's the only transfer I'm going to bring in. Right. We've had another super chat here from Red Baron. He says he's a fan of Boris Johnson. That's all you need to know about Zayn. Pure delusional, Arsenal and a Tory. Political. And Mohammed Ismail, yeah, we've read that one as well. Burnley had the better chance, to be honest. They should have beaten us, in all honesty, says Sasa Ranma. Well, here's Man City into the box with Mahrez trying to dance his way through. Spurs need to do a little bit more in this game. Zayn must be a celebrity with all these super chats, says Charlie Bass. There's a lot of wealth in London. These London types, they think that London's the only. They think London's England. They don't know what's going on up north. They've got no idea what's going on up north. They're just swimming around in their wealth in London, and that's why they're also they can't stand it that England. There's not been a Premier League title in Arsenal for how many years? Answers on a postcard. Everybody put the number in the live chat. Let's spam the live chat with the number of years it has been since Arsenal won a league title. Is it 16? Is it 14? When did they last win the title? 2004? 16 years? They're the new banter club. It was always Liverpool 30 years. Now it's Arsenal 16 years. God help United if Arsenal ever win the league, because then we'll become the banter club. But yeah, Arsenal aren't winning a title anytime soon, are they? But having said that, I said a couple of years ago I don't think Liverpool will win a title in my lifetime. And unless I snuff it in the next 2 months, they're going to do it. They're going to do it, aren't they? Good tackle there. Very good tackle by Harry Winks on De Bruyne. Having to do a lot of work, Spurs, today. And England lost in the rugby then. Prats. Oh, why is my bloody phone not working now? Ah. 24-17. That's the Grand Slam gone. "16 years for Arsenal without a club, a Premier League. The question should be, when was the last time they won the Champions League, says Fitness Unscripted to Rathkamath. Well, talking about Forest versus Leeds, Forest have won the Champions League or European Cup more times than Manchester City, Arsenal, and what other club? Tottenham. In fact, they've won it twice. Aston Villa have won the European Cup more times than Arsenal, Man City and Tottenham. I think to be a big club, you've got to have won the European Cup. And I'm sure, even Chelsea fans would agree with me on that. If you want to be a big club in England, you've got to have won the Champions League. Which is why Aston Villa is considered a big club. And Birmingham's a big place. It's the second biggest city in the UK, isn't it? Unless Manchester's overtaken now. And Villa's the biggest club in Birmingham, and they've won the European Cup. Here's Bergwijn taking it down. Oh, I like the way he took it down. Like I say, that's a foul. He's going to book him as well. Kyle Walker, get in the book. Fouled Lucas Moura. Yeah, but Bergwijn's got good upper body strength and balance on the ball. Arsenal are one good centre-back and a full pre-season with Arteta away from challenging for the league. I'm giving up. There's another sentence. I'm just gonna laugh. Ha 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 ha. They're one good centre-back and a full pre-season with Arteta away from challenging for the league. Look, mate, I know you're an Arsenal fan. I actually respect your enthusiasm, but I also know loads of Arsenal fans who would be laughing their head off at you. You are not one centre-back and a pre-season with Arteta away from challenging for the league. You are about 5 years away from challenging from the league, and that's if your owners put their hands in the pocket and buy some decent players. You're nowhere near winning the league. Absolutely nowhere near. And neither's Manchester United, and neither's Chelsea, and neither is any other team apart from Manchester City. It's Liverpool and Man City for the next 2 or 3 years. Comfortably, they're miles ahead. Miles ahead. Sassy Ranma says he's an Arsenal fan from Birmingham too. Acots Green. Shout out for Acots Green. That's the first place I lived when I moved to Birmingham. Mark, are you doing a watch along for Bayer Leverkusen versus Dortmund on Saturday? No? Joel? No? It's a short answer. There's 2 contenders for next weekend. Forest versus Leeds at 5:30. And maybe Leipzig, Bayern Munich on Sunday. Kyle Walker is done after this season. He only has pace, says Fitness Unscripted to Rathkamath. Where does Kyle Walker rank in your top 5 right backs? I think we did this the other day. I love top 5s. I absolutely love top 5s. Do you think I should do some top 5 shows on this channel, actually? Because I do love top 5s, and I'm starting to think maybe I should do like top 5 players of the year so far, top 5 goalkeepers and all that. I think it just generates good conversation. Nick P, Arsenal 11 players away, a change of board and 17 transfer windows away from challenging for the league. Yeah, I'd agree with that one. Anyway, Arsenal on the attack. Kyle Walker with the flicked header away. Dele Alli. Mahrez. And there we go. Arsenal, yes. Anyway, enough of Arsenal. Mark, have you seen Flex's tweet? I'll have a look. I tell you what, I'm just so relaxed that we don't have to have check Simon Stone's tweet, check Sky Sports News tweet. You know that I'm resting for that for a bit. Oh, Flex says that was quite a boring game. Looking at it as a neutral, Arsenal clearly needed a winger that can help score and create chances. I've no idea why they didn't spend 75 million and buy one in the summer. Banter. Well, Aguero's gone down injured here. We might have a review point here. Let's just have a quick look. think even Aguero's saying he got the ball. City coming forward. A few people in the live comments saying it's a penalty. I think, judging by Aguero's face, I think he knows it wasn't. There was a touch on the ball. And anyway, they're not going to VAR review it. Zane's back in with for round 2. He says, Mark, Ferguson was United. You will never be great again, as Man City will replace you as the main team from Manchester. Arsenal will always be number 1 London team, and we produce better youngsters. He can't help himself, can he? Sterling with the cross, headed behind. It's not been headed behind. Right, Mahrez has kept it in. You know what, Zane, and every Arsenal fan, I'm going to be absolutely serious with you now. You're not the biggest club in London. You're not the biggest club in London. You're just not the biggest club in London. Spurs are above you in the league. Spurs got to a Champions League final last year. Chelsea have won a league title in the last 16 years. In fact, they've probably won 3 or 4. All we have done in the last 15 years is win a couple of FA Cups. Like, you're not the biggest club in London. And that's from, people. Actually, no one's going to understand. No one's going to take me seriously. I accept that. But I'm trying to be serious here. I'm not trying to banter Arsenal fans. I'm actually trying to tell you, you're not the biggest club in London. And I don't know whether anyone in the live comments believes me, but you're not the biggest club in London. Right, Mike Dean's going VAR here. My God. 2 minutes, he's gone back to the penalty. Bloody disgrace. You can't take that long. How long? You cannot take that long. Well, it is a penalty, but that is a joke. That is a joke. Look, it's a penalty on Aguero, but it's how long they take. And Mourinho's just sat down and he'll be fuming because obviously Sterling didn't get sent off. But it's how long it's took to do that. They've played on for like 2 minutes. This is the worrying thing with football. It's a penalty. Look, it's VAR and it is a penalty, right? But it's how long it's taken. I'm not disputing that is a penalty on Aguero. But we've played on for about 2 minutes. Like, we've forgotten the incident. Aguero was on his arse for a minute. Like, it's they've been knocking the ball around for bloody ages. It's ridiculous, that is. You cannot, if you can't, I'd not seen the penalty incident. Oh, they showed it me then. It's a penalty. So why can't they look at that and get onto him straight away? And he saved it. Bloody just. Oh, well. They want another one now on Sterling. And it's goal kicking off. I love it when it kicks off. I love it when it kicks off. Bit of justice, though, I think. Bit of justice, I think. Zane's dreaming. Chelsea also won a Champions League, says Ninja Smurf United. It's all kicking off in the live comments as well. So, I like all this. I like a bit of a fight. Go on. Go on. Have it. Little bit of pushing. Saturday night in the kebab shop. Pushing and shoving. They've all had a beer. But, so, look. Aguero fouled. I think it was a penalty. We play on. Mike Dean says got the ball. Nothing happens for 30 seconds. You think VAR's not going to do anything about it. The ball's out of play before he does it. That's not a penalty on Sterling for me. I think he's going to... No, he's not giving it that time. Decision, no penalty. Well, it's all going off. It's all going off. But anyway, look, I don't know what you lot think. I think that's a disgrace. I think it is a penalty on Aguero, but you can't have a system where you've got 20 minutes and Alderweireld's going like this at the crowd. Mourinho's getting people up. I think we're in for a cracking second half. I think we're in for a really good game. But yeah, you can't wait 2 minutes for a penalty like that. It's poor, really poor. And that if that was United or it was Liverpool or whatever, I'd be bloody furious with that. Wait, Zane is saying we are nothing before Sir Alex Ferguson. Mate, read up on your history before you start spouting nonsense, as Red Baron. And Zane says Spurs Stadium was a waste of money. We have the best stadium. VAR never, ever amazes me. Never ever fails to amaze me on how incompetent it is. Arsenal are the only reason I'm saying this year, says Rowan Joel, who's a United fan, obviously. Alderweireld has been booked. And Zinchenko has been booked, I think, as well. Yeah. Bert Allen says, how do Liverpool and Spurs... Sorry, how do Liverpool have twice the points that Man United and Spurs have? Because Man United and Spurs are crap. It's simple as that, isn't it? I wonder if Sterling should have got a yellow card for... How? Well, I don't know why. Why is it not a penalty then? Why is that on... You know, I think for Sterling, you've either got to say it's a penalty or a dive. Oh, I don't know. I'm confused by this now. I think there's going to be a red card in this game. Son. A foul there. But there, yeah, just going back to what we were talking about. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, we do watch-alongs on here. Everybody's welcome. It's not about Manchester United, it's about everybody. But also, if you like the FIFA stuff, that's starting again this week. Now that transfer window's closed, you can get back onto the FIFA stuff. But yeah, I think we keep finding new areas of outrage with VAR, don't we? And I think that the Aguero thing probably, well, it was a penalty. Why does VAR take 2 minutes? We've been the game played on for 2 minutes and we go back for a penalty. It's shocking. Will you be doing FIFA career mode anytime? Says Andrew Chow. It's like an echo. I just said I'm going to start doing FIFA. Fitness Unscripted. Sharath Kamath says I'm loving this. Yeah, FIFA career mode will start on Tuesday lunchtime. Header. Well kept in by Dele Alli. Spurs have created nothing, by the way. I just want to say that. We're about half time. You know, we say this about Ollie, but they've got a corner now. Credit to Sheffield United. Amazing what they're doing, says Ollie D. Yeah, another big win for them, wasn't it? Another big win yesterday against Crystal Palace. Red Devils studying for his English GCSEs whilst listening to you and watching the match. But it's a good game. Son with the corner. VAR strikes again. Good save by Lloris as well from the penalty. Anybody who's got Aguero as their captain on Fantasy Premier League or not, you're still going to lose points, aren't you, when they miss a penalty? Don't think Son's had a very good season. I'm a big fan of Son, but I don't think he's had a very good season. Top 5 players this year, says Lee Kalov. Well, I'll let you lot. Just type your 5 out and I'll read them out. I might do that as a video this week, actually. So there you go. You can be part of that video with your thoughts. I will do a video this week on top 5 players of the season. But I will read out some of yours now. I'd have to have a think about that one as well anyway. I don't think I could do it off the top of my head. I've got a couple of ideas. I mean, look, a lot of them are going to be Liverpool players, let's be honest. Kyle Walker dealing with Son easily there. This is what I mean about Son. He's just not. He's not on fire. This is a disgrace. Muppets for refs. VAR shambolics, says Mohamed Ismail. And Zane's back. Arteta will do with Arsenal with what Klopp did with Liverpool. Just give us a few years. You can already see his magic. He's the Spanish Harry Potter without glasses. Yeah, it's magical what he's doing. Draws at Chelsea and Burnley. I've been massively impressed. It was magical today. Magical. Oh! Spurs have got rid of it. So we're about to hit, 4 minutes being added on. We're not about to hit half time at all. Jordan Henderson, Player of the Year, Ben Dukes. I'm not having this. I don't know whether this is controversial. I'm not having this Jordan Henderson hype. I think every year you get a player that the media decide is going to be the Player of the Year. And I think they're trying to give it to Jordan Henderson because he's English. They're trying to make out like he's Roy Keane or something like that. Jordan Henderson's had a very good season for Liverpool, but he's not Liverpool's best player. Not by a long way. So why would you give him Player of the Year? I don't get that logic. Why give it Jordan Henderson when he's not even Liverpool? I wouldn't even have him in Liverpool's top 3. He's had a very good season, but that's my logic to it. How can you give him Player of the Year? Who's been better than Henderson for Liverpool? I think Trent Alexander-Arnold for a right back. The assists he's got is stunning. I think Andy Robertson's been very good as well, or as good as Henderson. I mean, look, there's no doubting that lots of players in Liverpool's team should be up for the shout of Player of the Year because they've been so good. But it's not Henderson. I think Mane has been amazing again. Van Dijk's not dropped off. He's not had a bad season. So I just don't go with that. I don't go with that. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold is obviously going to win young. The trouble with Player of the Year is it's fixed. It's fixed by the media. It will be Trent Alexander-Arnold as young player, and it will be Henderson as the normal one. If you could take one player from City and Spurs, who would it be? Says Eric the Red. Ooh, that's a good question. From Spurs, I probably still would take Son. I like him. And I would take... Ooh, Aguero. Oh, he puts it wide. I think Jordan Henderson's been really good this season. I'm not saying he's been crap. I've actually said, you know what, he deserves a lot of respect. He's not this dodgy player that everyone thought he was. He's a very good player, but I don't believe he's Player of the Year. I think he's going to get it though. Mark, Con Air or The Rock? What's the better film? Says Sir Knight McGee. Con Air or The Rock? Ooh, we're splitting hairs here. What's the best Nicolas Cage film? I suppose people would go with... I like Family Man. It's very Christmas orientated, but I do like Family Man. Mahrez on the attack. Cross comes in. Spurs defending very well at the moment. And Man City standing firm. I agree he isn't the best, but I think it's more about consistency. A lot of Liverpool's best players struggle sometimes, but others step up. What are you doing? Alright, okay. And then Peppa Pig. The Rock, says Douglas. Hey, it's half time anyway. Controversial half of football. Controversial half of football indeed. Because Lingard clearly best. So many goals and assists, says Nihal Kitani. Yeah, very, very interesting half of football that. Man City will probably go in thinking, how are we not in front, considering Spurs have done next to nothing in that game. We had the penalty, we had the penalty save. At the moment, the Spurs defence is holding firm. The penalty, to me, we'll see it back at half time. That is a penalty, but how long they take to give the penalty is nothing short of outrageous. 11 shots for Manchester City, 1 for Spurs. None on target. Really, it's reminiscent of Manchester United against Man City the other night, really, where Man City have had all the play, but you could nick a goal. It could be into Barcelona, the Poundland version, Mourinho Pep. It could happen again. We'll see how it comes, what happens with it. But I think that we've been. I think, should Sterling have been sent off? For me, it wasn't a sending off. I think if he had been sent off, there would have been no complaints. Well, there would have been complaints, but you could have seen why he was sent off. It was studs on Dele Alli, but for me, he's trying to kick the ball, and then you fall into that area of, does there always have to be intent, or do you send them off because it's a dangerous tackle, or it could have hurt him? I think it's always a difficult area that. There's definitely no intent from Sterling, but he does stud tackle Dele Alli, but you're going to get those sort of things. Sometimes bad incidents happen between two players when they're both trying to get the ball and there is no intent. His studs certainly weren't raised anyway, and I think that's I think the yellow card was the right decision, to be honest with you. With regards to the penalty, I'd have to see it again at half-time. It looked like it was a penalty on Aurier on Aguero. But the weird thing about that one is, if you've not seen it yet, the weird thing about that is that Aguero goes down. Mike Dean says, no, there was a touch on the ball. Man City keep passing the ball around, and you wait that 30 seconds to see if VAR are going to review it. Nothing happens. Aguero's getting himself up. City is still keeping it down. Goes down the other end. 2 minutes pass by, and then the referee goes, penalty. It's like, that can never be the way. That cannot be the way with football. That is a failing of VAR. That's not Mike Dean's fault. They need to be looking at that penalty very quickly and saying, you need to review that penalty. They can't wait 2 minutes to do it. That is a joke, because the paying football fan, whether it's us paying for Sky or the people in the ground, we've gone, that looks like a penalty, or he's not going to give it. VAR's reviewed it, clearly wasn't a penalty. Right, let's get on with the game. And we're in a different mindset. And then 2 minutes later, we're like, oh, it is a penalty. You can't have that, because now every single penalty incident, when the referee says no penalty and VAR doesn't do anything about it, we'll be thinking, well, let's just see if anything happens in the next 5 minutes then, because that's just piss poor. And the best thing about it is, when they showed the incident again 2 minutes later, I looked at it and went, oh, that looks like a penalty. So VAR, when they saw it, should have gone straight away. Let the referee know within the first 30 seconds. It's poor. It's really, really poor. Very, very late. And again, another major issue for VAR there. So, Starling is a cheat, should have been gone, says James Amesworth. Well, the funny thing I also wanted to talk about as well was the fact that the penalty was then saved by Lloris by palming it to his left. Sterling runs in, knocks the ball as Lloris goes for it, goes down. And to be honest with you, the ball goes straight out of play. So I'm like, really, should that be a penalty? But if it is a foul in the box, it's a foul in the box. Doesn't matter if you kick them in the far corner and then there's 20 people in the box. It's still a penalty when you get your head around it. So, but they review that and say no penalty, but then they don't book Sterling for diving. So I'm like, Lloris doesn't get his hand on the ball. So you can only say foul or dive. And if it's a dive, it's a second yellow card. So I'd like to see that one at half-time as well, because I think VAR has had a bloody nightmare. Mark, the rich will buy us soon, and we will fund Arteta. When you will rise of Arsenal and the rise of Arteta, while you stuck with Woodward and the Glazers. You are absolutely obsessed with Manchester United, Zane. That's why you come on the United stand as well. You are absolutely obsessed with United, aren't you? I'm not bothered about Arsenal. I'm not. You used to be a rival 20 years ago. You're not a rival now. So. Yeah, I feel sorry for you, Zane. Stop being obsessed with Manchester United. Because even if you do get a rich person to come and take you over, you might go past United into fifth. But what are you going to do about Liverpool and Man City and everybody else? And then Bele, De Bruyne and Bruno all week, says Ninja Smurf United. Don't know what you're talking about. And 1 Mane, 2 Van Dijk, 3 Henderson, 4 Firmino and 5 Trent, says Simba96, as his top 5 players of the year so far. Right, we're going to see some of these reviews now coming in. So Sterling's first one. From that angle, it looks quite bad, actually. I need to see this again. It's how his foot goes. I'll tell you what, now I've seen it again on Sterling, I'm starting to think maybe it should have been a red. At the time, I think he's trying to kick the ball. Let's have a look at this. I mean, Aurier there has got no right to be giving a penalty away. And I can see why Mike Dean thinks it's not. It is a penalty. That is a penalty. But they should see that angle way quicker than that. That's took us 3 seconds to see 3 different... Well, not 3 seconds. It's taken us about 20 seconds to see that view and say it needs to be reviewed. Now, the third incident, Lloris saves it. Sterling runs in. Let's have a look at this one back. This is the second incident. What does Sterling do? I think that's a dive. Why don't they slow it down here? Well, that's poor by Sky. They don't want to show you the angle of Lloris and Sterling close up. There is a there's a camera angle there where they could show Sterling and Lloris, and they could conclusively show whether it should have been a penalty or whether it was a dive, but they haven't done it. They've kept it from afar. Maybe they'll have a look at it again in a minute. Sterling, the dive versus Arnold. He should have been a second yellow card if he's dived. I think we can all agree with that. Lingard or Mane, says RFD. Oh, I tell you what, it's a close one. It's close. I mean, you could almost have a show about that. In fact, I think you'd almost need a whole hour debate to go through the strengths and weaknesses, take calls. Lingard or Mane. That's a debate I don't want to get involved in. It's just so difficult to pick out who is the better player. How rich? Sterling should have been sent off, says Dot. And Sterling is the biggest diver in the Prem, says IDK. Well, he could have had I think he could have had a red card and a half by the look of it, shouldn't he? A second yellow for the dive and a full red for the tackle. Thoughts on Mahrez, says Hamza. Mahrez is a good player. Mahrez is a good player. Let's not beat about the bush. He is a good player. He won a bloody Premier League with Leicester, didn't he? And maybe coming to Man City, he hasn't played as much as he would have wanted. And I think the perception of Mahrez is he's not that good. But every time I see him play for Man City, he's so skillful. He is a good player. Sterling should have been sent off. Yeah, I think we're going to move past that now. There's a lot of people saying that. Jack Grealish has been unfairly treated by the English national team. He deserves to be in the team more than Mason Mount, Harry Winks and Eric Dyer, says Ryan Sheikh. Yes, I think the next international break is going to be very interesting because the Euros are coming, and I think that Grealish and Maddison, the seasons they've had, they've both got to be in that squad, and people like Dele Alli and Jesse Lingard shouldn't be anywhere near it. So it's going to be very, very interesting. If Henderson wins it this year, it's a disgrace considering Pogba with 15 goals and 16 assists wasn't good enough last year, says Oliver Edwards. Yeah, but it was always going to be Van Dijk last year. And the thing is, I think you do become a victim of your own success, don't you, in this country? Because the Ballon d'Or, or whatever they want to call it, every year goes to Ronaldo and Messi. Van Dijk has not dropped this year. He's not dropped off. The amount of clean sheets Liverpool have got, the amount of games Liverpool have won, 1 or 2-0 because of their defence. Van Dijk has not dropped off this season. You could say he's even been better this season. So why is Van Dijk not in for it? Oh, well, let's give it to somebody else this year because Van Dijk's already won it. That's not what happens with Messi and Ronaldo. Everyone just knows that they're miles better than everyone else, and they get it every year. It's like what they do at school now, isn't it? When you have sports day and you don't win for being first place, it's just everybody's won. No, they haven't. Whoever came first won, actually. And in the Premier League, the Player of the Year should be the best player in the league, and Van Dijk should be up there again. He's done way better than somebody like Jordan Henderson, but he won't be. I doubt he'll even be in it because we won it last year, so we can't win it again. How stupid is that? How stupid is that mentality? He has been probably Liverpool's best player again. Nobody's talking about him as Player of the Year. For me, it's Van Dijk, Mane or Lingard Player of the Year, and I'm not getting into any arguments with anybody. That's what it is. How good will United be now with Bruno and McSauce and Pogba and Rashford back, says Jeet. Well, I don't think it'll ever happen, Jeet, to be honest. Pogba will be gone in the summer. Will Rashford be back? Hi Mark, what about Zinchenko's high foot on Lucas, says Jordan Such. Should have been a yellow. I don't know whether he got a yellow, but I've not seen that at half time. So, what would your England team for the Euros be, says Oliver? I think again that's another video in the pipeline, isn't it? But I would start by saying that the goalkeeper should not be Pickford. I like Pope at Burnley and I like Henderson at Sheffield United. I don't rate Pickford. The right back has to be Trent Alexander-Arnold, but Wan-Bissaka should go as the understudy. The left back is interesting. I probably would go Chilwell. I don't rate Danny Rose, so I'd go Chilwell. The centre backs are obviously going to be Harry Maguire, and it's tough, isn't it? It'll probably be John Stones, but I don't rate John Stones. I actually like Joe Gomez, so midfield, Henderson obviously will deserves it. I mean, what I would say about Henderson there is he totally deserves that role in the England sort of engine room. I do like Harry Winks. I've got to say I do like Harry Winks. Grealish and Maddison have got to go as well. I'm not that interested in Mason Mount, to be honest with you. I think if he goes, he goes. But to me, it's got to be Grealish and Maddison in the more advanced attacking positions. Sancho's got to go. Rashford, if he's fit, Harry Kane's got to go. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much. We've got some good players to choose from. We've got some good. I'm looking forward to the Euros. I do like. I mean, look, as a shout out to this channel, we did it 2 years ago, the World Cup. We did watch-alongs on this channel for the England. In fact, we did nearly every game as a watch-along, whether it was England or not. And it was great fun. So do subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner, because we will be doing that for the Euros. I'm very excited about it, not just the England games. We'll be doing loads of games. So looking forward to it. I think it's always nice in the summer to have a major tournament to look forward to, because we don't get it very often, do we? Every couple of years. And actually, as a depressing point, this is the last summer tournament we're going to get for 4 years, because 2 years' time the World Cup's not in the summer. So the next summer tournament after this is the Euros in 4 years' time. So we've got to enjoy this one in the summer. But it's a bubble, isn't it? International football, summer tournaments, they're a bubble of their own. It's domestic football at the moment, and I think England have got some really good players, but a lot of it will depend on who's fit, because there are, Rashford and Kane have got injuries at the moment, but if anybody starts getting an injury now, knee or ankle, they won't be going to the Euros. You're getting into that point now where if you get injured in March, you ain't going to be available in June. So we will see players dropping off, especially after a hard season. As long as Lingard and Dele Alli don't go to the Euros, I'll be happy. I don't think either of them should be anywhere near it. But Southgate's the sort of man, isn't he? Tomori's a good player, EWM, but he's not playing at the moment, is he? Adam Byros says, what's your favourite DiCaprio movie? Probably The Wolf of Wall Street's very good, isn't it? The Departed as well. The Departed's my favourite, actually. It's one of my favourite films. But has he done a bad film, DiCaprio? I mean, some people just don't like DiCaprio, but for me, has he done a bad film? The Revenant's really good as well. The Blood Diamond's good. He's done loads of good films. I'd almost like to have a box set of all his films, actually. You should be able to get that on Netflix or Amazon or something. Anyway, second half's about to kick off. I'm really pleased that I did this watch-along today. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you all have as well. And I'm tempted to do Forest Leeds next week at R5. What are you thinking? If I did Forest Leeds next week at R5 as a watch-along, would you lot watch it? That's the big thing. Second half's about to kick off. Thanks for everyone who's made super chats, other than Zane. I'm not thanking Zane, by the way, but thanks everybody. We're currently on 117,500 on this channel, so please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Help us get to 118. We're on that road to 120. I'd like to get to 130 before the Euros, and then through the Euros maybe we could get to 150. That would be great. So that's the challenge. That's the aim for this year with this channel. But the second half has kicked off. The timer is up and running. A lot of people are saying, nah, they wouldn't watch it. Maybe. See, this is what I mean. It's a championship game at the end of the day, isn't it? There are fresh reports of Saudi takeover. Your thoughts? We won't be far away from City in a few years if that happens. Just by everyone, says Aman Aurora. Where are these fresh reports coming from, mate? Because they got quite big reports, didn't they, in the summer, and they never came to anything. Anyway, this game's kicking off second half. Hopefully we're going to see some goals in the second half here, because we don't want to see 4 draws in a row. Premier League televised games draws in a row. It was the weekend of the draw. Leicester, Chelsea, United, Wolves, Burnley, Arsenal. But Spurs, as I said, no shots on goal in the first half. 1 shot in total, none on target. Or I could just say 1 shot on goal, it wasn't on target. De Bruyne coming forward here. Interesting running style for De Bruyne. Almost looks like he's got a crap in his pants. Or a can of Fanta pants. But I tell you what, if Spurs were to get something out of this game, it would be good, wouldn't it? From a Spurs fan point of view. From a United perspective, what do I want today? Probably I don't know. I mean, look, all City does by winning is elongate the inevitable of Liverpool winning the title, and Liverpool are going to win the title. So if Spurs win, then that puts them ahead of United. So, but attempts none, on target none, expected goals none for Tottenham, touches in opposition's box 3 to Man City's 30. This is one-way traffic. This is one-way traffic. Sterling runs like a lady, says Byron Hall. That's very sexist. I think Sterling runs like a duck, doesn't he? Tell you what, he's very fast. Maybe we should all start running like that. Mark, do you think Dan James should go to the Euros, says Joel Morris? Well, he definitely will. Son's on the attack here. He needs to look left and right. Again, wasteful by Son. And a foul given against Lachelle. So, James will definitely go to the Euros. Beano United saying he's Welsh. Oh, lovely ball. Well done. Oh no, this could be a goal. Aguero. Cleared by Alderweireld. Sterling. Over the bar from Gundogan. They are knocking on the door. They can't open it. That was a chance and a half. Lloris and Tanganga knocking each other over. Aguero going for a shot. Alderweireld heading it off the line in a way. Sterling squaring it to Gundogan and he puts it over the bar. He was stretching a little bit, but I fancied this to go in, to be honest. It would have been calamitous between Spurs. It's Sterling's fault, that is. Sterling has just got to lay that across to Gundogan to nap it home. He puts too much weight on it. Yeah, Gundogan's got a stretch there, to be fair. It's a poor ball by Sterling. Can I have a shout out, please, says Jude Percy. Only because you asked. And that's not what I meant to say. Only because it hit my eye line there. The Departed, says Paul Stanger. I tell you what I'm really enjoying at the moment on Netflix. I'll tell you what I'm really enjoying at the moment. This fantastic website. It's called YouPorn. It's brilliant. It's got loads of different categories. Whatever you fancy. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I'm thinking I'm gonna go on there again tonight and maybe tomorrow. That is a joke, by the way. What I'm thoroughly enjoying at the moment on Netflix is Mindhunter. Really good series. Got so much TV to watch at the moment, though. So much backed up. People constantly telling you should watch this, you should watch that, and then you look at it on whatever platform it is and it's like 2 seasons, 3 seasons. You're like, how am I going to do that? Come on, City, beat this joke of a team, says Zane. Does Sheffield have a top 4 shot, says LD Productions? Let me have a look at the league. I would say no. They're 5 points off Chelsea. I would say no, because I think that they are doing absolutely superb, and 5 points on Chelsea is it's hard for someone like Sheffield United, but then again, they're way more consistent than United and Spurs. What a cross that is. Oh no, it's not that great. So Sheffield United's next few games, if people don't know, they've got Bournemouth next weekend at home, which you'd expect them to win, and then they've got Brighton at home, so that could be 2 wins. They've then got Norwich at home and Newcastle away, and then they've got United in March. So realistically, their next 4 games for Brighton, 3 of them are at home against lower division clubs, and then they've got Newcastle away. If they were to win those next 4 Premier League games, taking them to the middle of March, you never know. You never know. I think Chelsea's next couple of games are United and Spurs. So if they were to draw those, drop 2 points, I would fall off my chair if Sheffield United got top 4, but part of me would be absolutely ecstatic. I would laugh. I would laugh if Sheffield United got top 4 and Chelsea, United, Spurs and Arsenal didn't. I would be like, there endeth the lesson. There it is for you. you might be big clubs in a name, but if you don't run like yourselves like a proper football club, you're just a name. You're not a big club, and I want United to get top four. Of course I do. That's my team. But if we weren't going to get top four, I'd love Sheffield United to get it, because it would be a banter on Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, and United that a club like that's got promoted and has been run superbly well and coached really well with players that are nowhere near the quality of the players that those clubs have got. It would be an absolute up yours to the owners of all those clubs to say, look, you're running big clubs, but you're running them into the ground. So I'd love it. Do you like mushy peas from the chippy, says Vinbra. Love them. Love them, Vinbra. Love it. In fact, you know what? This week I'm going to treat myself to fish and chips one lunchtime, because I've had a busy January and I deserve it. You should watch Sacred Games on Netflix. It is an Indian series, definitely a must watch, says Rishabhi Katabel. You know what, though? I'm going to be really honest here. This is nothing against Indian TV or Chinese TV or Mexican TV. I've always, people have said to me that The Departed, the real film, is Internal Affairs, which is I think it's a Japanese film that you can watch with subtitles, and it's better than The Departed. And I'm like, I can't be bothered I'm not really into foreign films, to be honest with you, with subtitles and that. But Narcos Mexico is all subtitles, and I really enjoyed that, so I might give that a watch. I'm opening my mind to those things. Dennis Curry says, what are mushy peas? I wonder what mushy peas are like to people who don't know what they are. They're a real English thing. I grew up on that though, fish chips and mushy peas. Oh, I feel like having them now. Infernal Affairs is a Hong Kong film, says Ilion Hart. Meant to be very good. Will Spurs have a shot on goal? I've got to tweet that. It's a funny line. Dele Alli, offside. Mark, what's a Super Bowl? Says Dylan Hanafi. I think it's a bowl that you can put your fruit in, and when you drop it, it doesn't break. Son's been terrible in this game, says Dot. Definitely. Even though I'm a United, I would love to see Arsenal get top 5. Says, I don't know, that doesn't make any sense. Yo, Mark, if United were to play 3 at the back, don't you think you could play Aaron Wan-Bissaka as a centre-back and Delo as a right wing-back? You could be a lot more solid and offer more going forward, says Mickey P. Nah, we're already quite solid at the back, Mickey, and I think 5 at the back for United makes us even less entertaining and likely to score, to be honest. Vin Bra says, I wish I had a chippy close to me, was born and raised in Knott's and now live in Phoenix, Arizona. I take it they don't have fish and chip shops in America then. It's a very British thing, I presume. There's loads of them around here. Rajaz Khan says, Mark, The Departed is also a foreign film for you. It's bloody American. Yeah, but I don't know where you're from, Rajaz. But if you're English, American films are not considered foreign. They're not. We grow up with those. I grew up with Die Hard and Lethal Weapon and everything. In fact, a lot of British people will back me up on this. If you live in England, American films are your films. Like, actually, a British film is considered a little bit arty. You know, your Notting Hills and your Bridget Jones Diaries and stuff like that. They're considered a little bit out of the box because you consider American films to be your films. Remember, Mark, when we had Adams, Keown, Campbell, Cole, we had the greatest defence Europe has ever seen? Or was that when we won the treble? Yes. It wasn't actually, was it? Campbell wasn't there then, to be fair. Was that when you drew 12 games in your Invincible League? I think, you know what? I don't even know what I think about whether I want Liverpool to be invincible or not. But Arsenal fans are desperate for somebody to beat Liverpool. Because if Liverpool go invincible, Arsenal may as well just never call themselves Invincibles again. Because Arsenal became Invincibles and got a gold trophy for drawing 12 games. Like, they drew 12 games and they think, oh, we're brilliant, we're invincible. They drew 12 games to become Invincibles. If Liverpool become invincible, they're probably going to win virtually every game, which craps all over that. We drove 12 games, we're invincible. So Arsenal fans are desperate for Liverpool to lose a game. I know this. I have spoken. They are. One of Arsenal's big obsessions this season is Liverpool must lose a game. It's a bit like United. Liverpool cannot do the treble. Oh, here we go. Here's the goal. Kyle Walker. Oh, again. They're queuing up and he plays it behind Gundogan and Aguero. It would have been a tap-in. Still loads of time to go in this game. Good. Rio Mia's just finished Sabrina. Give me something to binge on. Is that Sabrina to do with Sabrina the Teenage Witch that used to be on the telly years ago? Give you something to binge on. You? Have you seen You? That's very good. If Sabrina's like the Teenage Witch thing, you'll really like You, because that's sort of like modern pop culture, but dark and edgy. So yeah, You on Netflix is good. Mindhunter, as I said, I'm watching that myself. That's good. I'm thinking of doing a video on my... let me run this by you. I'm thinking of doing, on my channel, Mark Goldbridge, because I do going for Goldbridge there, it's not sports related. I'm thinking, because on this channel we do a lot of these chats away from football, I'm actually thinking of doing a little bit more content on there and doing sort of like top 10s, top 10 chocolate bars, top 10 Netflix series, top 10 Oasis songs. I think it'd be really good. Let me know what you think. You know, Harry Doxey, when You came out on Netflix, people used to go in the live comments and say, I love You on Netflix, it's good. And I'd be like, am I on Netflix? Dead thick I am sometimes. I still need to see that film 1917 as well. Breaking Bad, if you've not seen that on Netflix, is very good. Top Boy is very good as well. I love Top Boy. If you're going to watch Top Boy, make sure you watch the series before, which was called... Oh, I can't remember it. It's also on Netflix. You need to search for it and watch it, because Top Boy is actually season 2 or 3 of something? You need to watch the ones before Top Boy, because you would think Top Boy is just its standalone thing, which it can be, but there is actually 2 before. Good cross coming in there from Morez. Whisper Gold, number 1, says David Hill. Can you still get Whisper Gold? In South Africa, you see a fish and chip shop every corner you turn, says Manchester is Blue. Big up South Africa then. I'm on my way. I'd love fish and chips tonight, but I've already had a big dinner. Good run this by Harry Winks. That's got to be a yellow card. He's going to be off. Second yellow. Idiot. Oh, it's De Bruyne. No, it's Zinchenko. Definitely a red card. Harry Winks is going past him and he blocks him off. Definite red. Zinchenko, what a prat. Can't type for shit today. Oh, for God's sake. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I can't type. I can normally do it off the bat. So Zinchenko's going off. They're not even going to VAR review that, because it's quite simply idiotic. Harry Winks, I don't think Harry Winks was running through on goal. I don't think that's what they're looking at trying to get him into trouble for, but it's definitely a second yellow. He'd already been booked once. You've now been booked twice. That equals a red card. City down to 10 men, and suddenly Spurs' chances of having a shot on goal could be quite good. Summer House is what it was called. Yeah, Summer House. If you're going to watch Top Boy on Netflix, watch Summer House first. Substitution for City then. Cancelo's coming on. Could end up being a draw now, this. We could be getting our 4th draw of the weekend. Corner for Spurs. Imagine if Spurs nick it. I bet every Liverpool fan wants Spurs to win. I don't even need to ask. It's logical. Oh. What a goal! What a goal by Steven Bergwijn on his debut. That is absolutely stunning. And it's 1-0 to Spurs. 1 shot, 1 goal on his debut. He's putting a hand over his face. I don't know what that means. But they're running on the pitch. The coaches are running on the pitch. It's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning by Bergwijn. And I'm going to have to stand up to type this because that was magnificent. Let me just spell his name right. I'll never get it. And it's 1-0. And Liverpool fans celebrating as well. Well, that's a debut, isn't it? This is the debut I hoped Bruno was going to get. Cross comes in. Cleared by Kyle Walker. Finds its way to Bergwijn from Lucas Moura. Controls it and bang. I don't think it hits the ground. Lucas Moura on the chest. Oh, it's a lovely goal. That is, I mean, what a debutant goal that is. It's brilliant. He controls it on the chest. And as it's coming down, he smashes it in with his right foot. Beautiful goal. Beautiful goal. And it sets it up. Well, what a few minutes Man City have had. They've gone down to 10 men. And now they've gone down to 1-0. 10. Down to 10 men. Down to 10 men. Also means 1-0. That's what it means. That would have worked a lot better if I'd actually choreographed it better. But 1-0 it is to Tottenham. And Steven Bergwijn on his debut. What a hit. What a hit. And I think even Pep Guardiola would agree that. He won't. He'll be sulking. He won't be happy. It's been one of those days. Aguero's come off for Cancelo, which is odd because that substitution doesn't make any difference any now because you're already losing, you prat. You should have kept Aguero on, but he's probably unhappy with Aguero today. I think that's a I'm not happy with you. If you'd scored that penalty, it wouldn't have happened. Zane's made a comment, and it's not the result you want. This is a joke after Burnley and this. What a Sunday, says Zane Miassi. There's a cracking song by U2 that probably sums up your mood, Zane. It's called Sunday Bloody Sunday. And it has been a massacre of Manchester City here because it's Steven Bergwijn who has scored a cracking goal for Spurs. It's a smash and grab, quite frankly. A smash and grab. And City have only got themselves to blame. Aguero has gone off, White Owl. I don't even understand why he's gone off. You know, you need a goal. But I suppose they'll play the sort of false 9 thing, won't they? They'll play without a number 9. It was Gundogan who took the penalty, actually, says Dimmy Massive. Sorry about that. Spurs 1-0 up then. And I think we're going to get a yellow card here. Not a red. 22 points with 7 games to go. Pep has to go. Mohamed Ismail. Debut goal for Bergwijn, yes. A lot of people are saying it. Absolutely superb. The Chelsea... that's a yellow card, isn't it? For a foul on Kyle Walker. First shot on target. The only shot on target for Spurs, and it's gone in. It's not your day, Pep. It's not your day. I mean, everyone is saying Pep needs to go. I mean, I don't sympathise with Pep Guardiola at all, but if you did have any sympathy for these mercenary City fans who started supporting them because they got good, which we don't, you would almost feel for them a little bit because, mistake there. Spurs have got to push on and win this game now. I know they're winning it already, but go and get a second goal. But when you look at the balance of play and the way it's gone, it'd be interesting to see what Mourinho's going to do. I think he's going to bring Ndombele on. But when you look at the balance of play, Manchester City have absolutely annihilated the Spurs. You know, if you didn't know the score and I said 70% possession for City, 14 shots to 1, 4 shots on target to 1, you wouldn't say it would be 1-0 to Spurs. you wouldn't. You'd be pricked. You'd say 2-3-0 to City. So, but City have only got themselves to blame for that. This has been a common occurrence this season. Same Miasi, Spurs fans, if they win, they will act as if they have won the league. It shows how desperate the BTEC London team is up the Arsenal. I tell you what, can I just tell you this? This is very interesting indeed. If Spurs were to win this game, they will go up to 5th place. 2 points clear of Manchester United and Wolves, and a point clear of Spurs, of Sheffield United, and only 4 points behind Chelsea, if they hold out for the win. And the very interesting thing about that is this. Spurs' next few fixtures. I actually predicted that when Mourinho came into the Spurs job, he could get them top 4. I thought there was a good chance that he could get them top 4. And I think Bergwijn might be going off injured now, which would be absolutely horrible for Spurs to sign a player and then he gets injured. But Spurs' next game is... oh, that's not good. Bergwijn's down, clutching his calf. And Man City have been a bit naughty here. They've played on when there's an injured player, which is pissed off a few Spurs players. But next game for Spurs is in the league is Tottenham, funny enough, against Villa. And then they've got Chelsea. 2 away games for Spurs coming up in the league after this. Chelsea and Spurs. Chelsea and Villa, and then they've got Wolves. So they've got some tough games, and then they've got Burnley away, and then they've got United at home, and then they've got West Ham. So Spurs have got a good, tough run of fixtures. I think the real team to keep an eye on, and Bergwijn looks like he's got cramp. What a finish though! They're just showing it back there. He looks like he's got cramp. The club to look out for the most is Chelsea, and their next few fixtures are 2 home games against Manchester United, and then they're playing Tottenham. And then they play Bournemouth away. And then they play Everton at home, Villa away, and then Man City. So there's some tough games for all those teams at the top. Where have all the Glazers out chants gone? Oh, I don't know. They've all gone quiet, haven't they? They've all gone quiet. Don't know. Dele Alli's coming off and Dembele's coming on. 20 minutes to go. Park the bus time, says Blue Minter. I wouldn't park the bus against 10 men, would you? I wouldn't. Fortune favours the brave. You're not going to lose the game. Go and win it. Bergwijn's come off for Lamela. I tell you, it'd be just typical of Spurs, wouldn't it, if Bergwijn scores the winner, but then he's out for 3 months. I don't know whether it looked like cramp to me with Bergwijn. It looked like he might have an injury, but we'll see. Spurs on the attack here then. So Spurs have only had 1 shot on goal in this game, and that's been the goal. And Dembele's come on. I think Dembele's been a bit of a flop, hasn't he? Oh, Son! 2-0! That's the game. That's the game. And that's Son, who has had a really, really poor game. And Son seals it for City. Liverpool fans rejoice. It's game over. And Jose Mourinho is standing him up. And he is saying something about switch on. Switch on. I think Mourinho's telling them all there. Mark, you say City just spend money. Do you know since 2013 they've only spent 106 million more than United? Yeah, but we've spent loads of money, Dano Jr. United fans, just remember we gave you a battering at the Emirates and now played you at Old Trafford. Arsenal fans, just remember you're 4 points behind us. Sit down. But it's 2-0 here. It's a lovely finish by Son. And it's the end of Manchester City. And I'll tell you what, when can Liverpool win the league now then? Because that will change the complexion of how quick they can win the league. And I think we're going to be looking at mid-March, aren't we? As sad as it is, I think we're possibly looking at mid-March for a Liverpool, not an Arsenal, got you excited there, for a Liverpool league title, which has always been not essential. It's always been incoming, and it's going to happen. 2-0. 2-0. And how a game can change. And I said it in the first half, didn't I? It's like a Poundland Inter versus Barca all those years ago. Was it 10 years ago when Inter Milan knocked Barcelona out the cup? Prime Barcelona, semi-final of the Champions League. Did them over 2 legs, parking the bus at the new camp. Mourinho versus Pep. And this is not quite as high stakes. It's a bit of a Poundland version, but it's the same shithousery from Mourinho where he's absolutely been backs against the wall. 2 shots to Man City's 14. Both have gone in. Clinical. And I tell you what, that's something I would say about Mourinho at United as well. We were very clinical. But very hard to watch. And I think, Spurs fans are going to be very happy with this result. But it's a very similar situation to United under Ollie. Yeah, you're going to celebrate the win. And yeah, it's a great day for Spurs. But long term, is this what you want to be going to watch every Saturday or Sunday, where your team is not actually that entertaining, but you're just clinical? And that's the thing that became a problem with United. United are down to 7th now, says Jake Lovett. Yes, firmly down to 7th, I'm afraid. It's so tight though, isn't it? Because if you look at it now, United dropped down to 7th with 35 points, and yeah, it's actually not as bad as I thought it was. We're still 5 points away from 14th. But you know what? In relation to United, I don't know what any other team around us are doing at the moment. In our last 5 Premier League games, we've lost 3, drawn 1, and won 1. We've taken 4 points from 15. So it's not like I think United, because we bought Bruno Fernandes, it's sort of reset the clock in a way that everyone thinks we've been doing quite well recently. We're not. We're doing really bad. 15 minutes to go though. Can City get back into it? I don't think they can. I'd be very surprised if they can. Seventh place for United now. United. Well, we're not going to get a draw. Super chat from Trent Singh. He says, oddly nice seeing Mourinho doing what he does best, spoiling parties. Still wouldn't have him back though. God no, Trent. I totally agree. And Mohammed Ismail says, no matter how bad a game a world-class player has, it takes a single moment to produce something absolutely brilliant. What a goal by Son. I like Son. I don't think he's had the season I thought he was going to have, but I do like Son, and he's had a really bad game today. A lot of what he's tried, it hasn't worked. He's been shrugged off the ball a lot. But then, he gets an opportunity like that and he scores. And this is what I mean. If you look at Anthony Martial's performances for United as an example recently, he's been playing really bad, but he's not really been getting the chances. If he'd have scored a goal yesterday like Son's just scored there, no one would talk about the bad performance. So this is what I'm always on about with Martial. The issue is, he's not playing particularly great, but he's also not getting the chances to put the goals in the back of the net. Still 15 minutes to go, says Michael Dunn. I don't see City getting back into this game. I really don't. Oh, that's good news as well. The trip to Greece starts on Sky on Tuesday the 3rd of March. I love the trip with Rob Brydon and Steve Coogan. When does it start? Sky 1 and BBC 2 and Sky Atlantic 6 starring Rob Brydon. Sky 1. Lovely stuff. Can't wait for that. Greece, hey? Mark, why do you never use the laptop to the left of you, says Lucas Larson. I do, look. I'm just going to do some little work now. Zane says, right, Mark, I'm off to smoke some cigars and order some strippers to drown my sorrows. Omar Suarez, Zane does not fund the whole channel. Pep was always a lucky fraud, says the Fowler G. I love it when Pep starts to get stick. Without an open checkbook, he really does. I like doing that now. He really does. Doesn't do himself any favours, does he? Don't know what to have for my tea. Give me some ideas for my tea. Sunday night tea. If you're anything like me, this goes back through my whole life. Sunday night tea is never going to be... Oh, it's got to be something quick. You know, crumpets or beans on toast or soup. It's always something quite basic on a Sunday because you've had your Sunday lunch. So what are you thinking for a Sunday night tea? I think I might have beans on toast, to be honest with you. Or maybe scrambled egg on toast. That'd be nice. But I'm going to have something. 8 o'clock tonight on the United Stand. Sunday Night Live is back in all its glory. Not surrounded by transfer news. It's the traditional Sunday night show where it's an hour talking about the latest goings on at Manchester United. I'm so excited about it because I think when the transfer window's open, the Sunday night show just becomes like any other show talking about transfers. Whereas Sunday night show on the United Stand has always traditionally been, you know, talking about bigger issues, the weekends and everything like that, and the future. So really, yeah, join me for that on the United Stand YouTube channel, which some people may not even be aware of now, because this channel's doing really well as a standalone welcome to everybody. Doesn't matter who you support channel. So you might not know that I'm a United fan and I've got a massive channel called the United Stand. That sounds like a massive show-off statement, doesn't it? But it is bigger than this one. 650,000 subscribers. The United Stand, 8 o'clock tonight. We get a lot of people watching it who don't support United. You'd probably enjoy it. De Bruyne really should have been on the end of that. I mean, Man City, I've got to say this as well. In relation to Manchester City, I don't know whether we won't have any Man City fans because there aren't any. But if there are any Man City fans out there and they ever see this, your problem at the moment is you are shit in the final third. I said this after we played you on Wednesday. We beat you 1-0. And you should have won it 3-1. And I watched this game today, and Spurs are going to win it, but you should have won it. So Man City are terrible in the final third at the moment, and I don't know whether that's been the same all season. I've seen them a few times, and they've scored quite a few goals, but they're struggling. Everything about them's still quite good. Defensively, they've been a little bit weak, but they're just 2 games and they've not scored in 180 minutes. And I bet if you count the chances up over those both games, they've been massive. Maz says, I'm a Spurs fan who watches the United Stand just because of Mark. I'd probably watch a Spurs... I'd watch a Spurs stand if they did it like we do. Is there a Spurs channel? I know there's that. I know there's Expressions because it's Rance's brother, and I like Expressions, but it's not the United Stand. It's a very... You've got to be... I can imagine some people don't watch Expressions, to be honest with you. But it's the same with Chelsea as well. They don't really do anything, do they? The main ones I know are Liverpool, United, and obviously Arsenal Fan TV, but nobody really does it like the United Stand. Sterling does nothing, which is causing issues as he keeps getting picked, says Potato McMuffin. Everyone says Pep out. Pep in the Barcelona day was so good, says Naeem. Well, he had Messi as well, didn't he? I think Pep's system works well when he's got the money and the players. Man City just need the summer, don't they? I actually hope Pep stays because there is no way Chelsea, Spurs, United are going to stop Liverpool winning the title next year. The only team that can stop Liverpool winning the title next year are Man City. So that's why I want Pep to stay, as sad as that sounds, because Liverpool aren't going anywhere. And, you know, why would Liverpool drop off? They've got the Premier League on lockdown. Wherever they go, home or away, they're relentless. And those players aren't going anywhere. So the next thing for Liverpool, you can tell they've got the mindset with Klopp as well. You know, they've broken the record this year. They got loads of points last year and finished second. This year, they're probably going to beat that and get first. They won the Champions League. They're just so driven. Then there's no way they're going to drop off next year, Liverpool. They're probably going to go again because it's like, well, if we get another Premier League title, we're level with United, and if we, we can retain it. I don't see Liverpool dropping off, so I hope Pep stays and opens the checkbook, to be honest with you, because I want somebody to stop Liverpool catching up with us, and it's not going to be our manager, unfortunately. Sad, isn't it? John Prasham says United's 2-0 win against City is better than this because we beat them at their ground with the entire squad. If only we had a good coach. Bruno would have his first goal on his debut. And Pranav Prasad says the title is coming home, number 19. Yeah, we got 20. Sterling's coming off for Bernardo Silva, and Eric Dyer is coming on. Even Mourinho 2-0 up, he'll still park the bus. Lucas Moura for Eric Dyer. But this is a big win for Mourinho. Mourinho at Spurs, I know a lot of Spurs fans, they're not sure about Mourinho. This is a big win for Mourinho to beat Pep Guardiola, who will love it. And it will also... These are the things I remember Mourinho as a manager. These are the things that he'll remember. He'll almost put it on his bookcase. I beat Pep. And he'll live off this for a while now. But, Mourinho's going to be the manager of Spurs next season anyway. Whatever happened this year, he's going to get a summer and a full season. Spurs fans can be unsure of him as much as they like. He was always going to be here next season. So about 10 minutes to go in this. Let's have a look how we're doing today, actually. We've got loads of people watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. And get involved with it. Everybody is welcome on here, and it's growing nicely as a channel. So thanks everybody who has watched today. Really enjoyed it. Watching a good match with a bit of banter and chat. And your favourite Netflix series, you can't beat it. Mark, are Brighton the blandest team in the league? Says Govan98. There's just something about Brighton I just don't like. And I would like them to get relegated. And I predicted it at the start of the season. I also predicted that that Sheffield United would get relegated. So I've got to be a little bit careful about my predictions. What a finish by Bergwijn there. They're just showing that back again. New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can do. Wait till we go spending in the summer, says Stizer. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Spurs do in the summer, because you did spend money last year for Poch, and I felt that some of your signings were good, like Lo Celso, good player, Ndembele, I wanted him to come to United, and I think he will get better, Ndembele. I really wanted him to come to United. And the thing about Ndembele is, look at Fabinho at Liverpool. He didn't settle straight away. It took him a bit of time. And I think Ndembele will become a really good Premier League player. And I like the fact that Mourinho likes Harry Winks as well. Because I like Harry Winks. And I think the way he uses him is good. But what they'll do in the summer, I don't know. Messi, Iniesta and Xavi in one season with the top three finalists of the Ballon d'Or, and they lost to Jose Mourinho's Inter team. Pep is a fraud, says Mohamed Esmail. Can you... I can. You really think Man United can get Champions League? Europa only way, I think, says Adam Wright. I think anything's possible for the Premier League, Champions League positions, because I don't think anybody... The top three want it. Leicester and Liverpool and City are going to get top four. But Chelsea, they've left the door open so many times. You can't even say... I think... Let me have a look at this league table. So, Arsenal have got 31 points and Chelsea have got 41 points. 10 points should be too much, but you just don't know. But I think Arsenal's problem is the teams they've got ahead of them, Everton, Spurs, Wolves, Man United and Sheffield United, they need all those to drop points as well. So I don't think Arsenal can be in a top four race. I think they're gone. I don't think Everton are good enough to be in a top four race, and they're 8 points behind Chelsea. And then you've got United and Wolves on 35 points, which is 6 points behind Chelsea. I think that's doable. That is doable. And then you've got Sheffield United 5 points behind and Spurs 4 points behind. So it's who I said this at the start of December. It's who finds some consistency out of Wolves, United, Sheffield United, and Spurs. But having said that, Sheffield United have been very consistent. So, you know, as crazy as it sounds, you could say that they're the team that's most likely to do it. De Bruyne, another crap finish by Silva there. I am a United stand member and want to know your opinion on will we ever win a title in the next 10 years, says Shirazia. Well, 10 years is a long time, Shiraz. I think United could do. But a lot is going to have to change very quickly because I don't think we're going to win anything in the next... I don't think we're going to win it in the next 3. Being from Birmingham, are you a fan of the streets? Says Rebel Dog 8. I'm not from Birmingham. I moved here about 10 years ago, so I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of the streets. And are you watching the Super Bowl? Says Dilo. Depends. Last year I watched it for about half an hour, but it's so stop-start. I mean, what time will the game finish? What time will the Super Bowl finish and start? What time's punt off or whatever they call it? Because it goes on for bloody ages, doesn't it? I don't want to be up till 3 o'clock in the morning. That's what I'm saying. That second goal from Son has really shut this game down for City. I think if it had been 1-0, they might have been able to get a point out of it. But that second goal from Son really killed off City's chances. Do a Super Bowl watch-along, says Alex Baldry. I don't do watch-alongs of things I'm not 100% sure of because it just pisses off the purists. I did that once before with... I can't remember what it was. I did a watch-along for something that... Formula 1. I used to do Formula 1 watch-alongs because I like Formula 1. And there's some real Formula 1 purists and they didn't like the fact that I didn't know everything about it. So... Finish about 3 a.m. says Rickard Mikalov, and it starts at 11:30, 3:30 finish roughly. It's too long. Nazarali, would you take Son at United? Oh yes, yeah. I really like Son. I don't think he's had a great season. I don't think he's even had a great game today, but he got the goal. But no, I think when he's on fire, Son is. I'd love him at United. Yeah. I think with Son, he reminds me of like he is a Poundland Ronaldo, but Ronaldo's so good. Even being a Poundland Ronaldo, you're good. Naeem is a Liverpool fan. He thinks we're being a bit harsh on Pep. He did win 2 Champions League titles with Barcelona and created the greatest team of all time, which played the best football. Yeah, but he also had 3 or 4 of the best players in the last 20 years, didn't he? I think at Barcelona it was very hard not to be successful. Good running by Ndembele here. Lo Celso into Son. They could go for 3. Shoots on target. I think they've only had about... That's the only shot they've not scored with. I think that's their third shot on goal. I'm hungry now. I need some tea. Or dinner, whatever you call it, wherever you are. Five minutes added on. I'll tell you what, man of the match for this game would be hard to pick. You almost need to pick a player that's for Spurs, but was also involved in the goals. Can't give it to any Man City player. Lloris hasn't made that many saves apart from the penalty. Harry Winks. Who got this? Ndembele got the assist on that one. Lucas Moura got the assist on the first one. Good cross that in, but nobody in the box for City. Unless United get a director of football, there is no chance, says Mr. Hamid Ismail. Spurs coming forward again here. And City have got hold of it. Just give it to Bergwijn, yeah. The goal was out of nothing, wasn't it? Just give it to Bergwijn. So Spurs have had 3 attempts, 2 went in. City coming into the box again. De Bruyne ends up in the keeper's arms. Lloris. Please subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. I don't know what our next watch along is going to be. There's some talk of maybe doing Bayern Munich, RB Leipzig next week. Maybe do Forest Leeds. I think that Leverkusen Dortmund's been mentioned as well. There's not really any good Premier League games to do next week. That's the problem. We're having this half and half winter break, aren't we? Where some teams are playing and some aren't. But the games that are next week are pretty crap. Eric the Red, what's for dinner? I don't know. I think I'm going to have beans on toast because we've got this really nice bread that we're getting at the moment, which is like, it's the bread with all the seeds and stuff in it. I love it. It's got lovely texture. I've never been a big fan of Lloris, to be honest with you, Joshua. Joshua's just saying that Joshua Healy says, if you didn't have De Gea, would you take Lloris? I've never really been a big fan of Lloris. I think he punches a lot. He's a good goalkeeper, but I'm not a massive fan of him, to be honest. I don't know why. I mean, he is a good goalkeeper, but I've just never been a massive fan. Spurs play better football than United, even though it's still poor, says Dot. But how many people have said that Ollie's style of play is just a Poundland version of a Mourinho? And I tell you what, you can tell it's not Man City's day because a cross came in and Davinson Sanchez headed it and it went against his own bar and out. So Mourinho sat there smiling, and I think he knows that today it has just gone his way. It was almost an own goal. That's full time. Pep and Mourinho shake hands. Mourinho will be very, very happy with that result. And so will Spurs. Big win for them. Fifth place is theirs outright now. They're not sharing it with Wolves and United. They're 4 points behind Chelsea. That race for top 4 is still on. Please subscribe to this channel if you're new. And if you want to join me at 8 o'clock on the Sunday Night Live show at the United Stand, funnily enough, it will be on the United Stand YouTube channel at 8 o'clock. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. See you next time on this one. Look at Aguero, Son, even Salah, Mane. They press and recover so much. I'm sorry, but don't see that with Martial. We're talking about tier 1 players, says John Brathatham. Thank you very much. Subscribe, bottom right hand corner. I'll see you soon. 8 o'clock on the United Stand if you want to join me on there.